My name is Trey and welcome back to Reload Reacts. Today we are going through r/Offmychest, where a co-worker crashes out and gets fired over Christmas music. This next post is by All Pens Are Created Equal. Years ago, young, naive and trying to be polite, I told my mother-in-law her homemade fudge was delicious. It was our first Christmas together, I panicked, I lied, and thus began my fudgy sentence. The fudge is not good. It's aggressively sweet and tastes like old Halloween candy, but because I love it, she makes it every Christmas. And because I really love it, she makes more every year. Every damn year. Now she lives with us as of last year, which means there is no escape. I can't discreetly toss it or give it away like I used to, and the faster it disappears, the more encouraged she becomes. This year, I watched in horror as she made 3 9x13 pans using what looked like 15 cups of sugar. My spouse is of no help as my suffering and good intention lying has become very amusing. I tried everything. It's a little too sweet resulted in a sugar substitution which gave me diarrhea. I'm watching my weight resulted in portion controlled fudge servings that were frozen. Maybe a new recipe resulted in, why would I change a thing when you love it so much? She is genuinely the sweetest person alive, which somehow makes this worse. I love her. I just can't eat this fudge anymore. I don't know how to escape the fudgy hole I've dug without crushing her feelings. I can't bear the thought of telling her I've secretly thrown away her fudge for years. This next post is by OKB. I work in marketing/copywriting. We have a guy on the team who is always swamped and acts like he's carrying the department. Yesterday, he left his screen unlocked when he went to lunch. I walked past and saw his ChatGPT history open. It wasn't just for ideas. He was literally pasting, write a response to this email from client XX and write a 500-word blog post about topic XX. He is copying and pasting the answers verbatim. He isn't even editing them. He makes about 20,000 more than I do. Part of me wants to report him, but part of me is impressed he's gotten away with it for so long. I feel like I'm the idiot for actually doing the work manually. That's actually crazy. Dude is not doing any work at all and getting away with it. Making money must be so easy for him. The next post is by the accountant. I just started a new job and decided I want to make a good impression by being in the office a little early. Also, so the manager cannot see if I'm only here for 5 minutes or if I was already here for an hour. So no one questions me if I leave early. So I started coming in between 8 and 8:15. The first day I noticed I was the first, but the rest of the week my boss would be already there at 8. Apparently he's an early bird as well. So the next week, I arrived at 7:30. Again, I'm the first one on the first day. But the rest of the week, that guy is already in the office before I arrive. I am truly wondering now, at what time this guy goes to work. So last week, I arrived at 7 AM on Monday and the same thing happened. Tuesday, that guy was already sitting at his desk when I arrived. So yesterday I asked him, what time do you usually arrive at work, since you were here extremely early? And he confessed that the director demands all managers to arrive before the first staff member arrives and leave only after the last staff member leaves. So me trying to beat him to the office was forcing him to get out of bed an hour and a half early to be at the office at the arse crack of dawn, while still having to work until the last team member leaves around 5:30 PM. Anyways, tomorrow I will be at the office 8:30 sharp then. Sustainable Capitalist says, my only worry was that if it had continued, then you'd both be at the office yesterday for today's shift. This next post is by Glittering Top. My neighbor leaves a light on for me every night and I never knew why. I live alone in a small apartment complex. I get home pretty late because of my job, usually around 11 PM. My neighbor across the hall, mid-70s maybe, always had his porch light on. I thought it was just a habit of his. Yesterday, as I was unlocking my door, he stepped out and said, "Oh good, you made it." I asked what he meant. He said, "I leave the light on so you don't have to walk up the stairs in the dark. My granddaughter is your age, and I'd want someone to do that for her." I didn't know what to say. Nobody has ever looked out for me like that. Not in that simple, quiet way. Then he said kind of shyly, "If it ever bothers you, you can tell me. I just want you to feel safe." I think I almost cried right there. My own family never did small kind things like that. I didn't even know how much I'd been missing it until that moment. I told him thank you, and he smiled like it genuinely made his day. I don't know why a stranger caring about my safety hit me so hard, but it really, really did. That's so sweet. I don't think that's common culture over here. This next post is by Throwaway. 28-year-old Arabian woman. So fucking sick of everyone asking me when I'm going to get married and telling me how I'm supposed to live my life. Always been told I can't do this, can't do that, hurry up and settle down. You have to be a devout woman. Like I'm not someone with my own personality in life. Been wanting a motorbike since I was a teenager and I've always been told no, girls can't have motorbikes. Well, I've fucking had it. I have my test booked early next year and I got a deposit on a bike. Next person who tells me to settle down is getting run over at 8 kilometers per hour. Emotionally, not legally, probably. Leather Flan says, "Hell yeah, get that motorbike, ride it into the sunset." This next post is by Demorali. I crashed out over Christmas music and lost my job. The title says it all. I worked in a very tiny office. There's only 4 of us in an open floor plan space the size of a bedroom. There is a glass wall separating us, 2 and 2, but it purposefully doesn't provide much coverage so that we can collaborate or whatever. All of my co-workers are over the age of 65, and I'm 35. It's like 65, 66, and 75. The 75-year-old man started playing Christmas music from the 1930s from his computer, like loud. I mean pretty loud. Not like nightclub loud, but I was struggling on phone calls and really to hear myself think. And he played it all day long. Like 9 AM through when we left at 4. No breaks. I think my other co-workers enjoy the music, which is why it isn't a problem for them. But when you're forced to listen to loud music you don't like, it gets really grating. Especially when you actually have to get work done. And especially when it's endless morose Christmas crooning echoing through a tiny office for hours. The man was acting like he was doing us a favor for office morale by playing the music. I'm not sure how the others were making phone calls, they're hard of hearing to begin with. So it all blew up when I asked my boss if he could either ask my coworker to wear headphones or just turn it off. This was on day 1. He said yes, but ignored me. Now day 2 rolls around and he turns it on at 9 AM louder than yesterday. I was a little more upset, but not acting unreasonably yet. I asked my boss again to fix the issue. He agreed again and proceeded to ignore me again. So I had to do it myself, which I didn't want to do because the man is old and not nice. I asked the man if we could please wear headphones for music and that I'm finding the music distracting. Polite, reasonable. He said no. This began my crash out. At this point, I'm furious. The crooning is still going, I'm struggling on the phone, and my boss watches in silence as the man says no to stopping the music. My coworker shuts the door between us and muffles it a bit, but it does not fix it. So when my boss opens the door to ask me if that helped the problem, and by opening the door floods my office again with full volume ancient Christmas music, I blew my top and yelled, "No." Question is phrased like I'm the source of the problem, like, "Hey, did that minor but unacceptable tweak fix your problem with the coworker's noise?" After that, I left the building, and now I'm unemployed from a job I was at for 3 years. And I feel ridiculous and stupid that it all happened over Christmas music, but it's hard to explain just how much the constant horrible noise was grating on my ability to exist and work, and how badly it got to me at the end of my rope to lose my cool. I would have been reasonable, if maybe it had been like Christmas music lunch hour or something. But I'm just so confused how anyone thought it was okay to operate in an office like that. Anyway, cross your fingers for my unemployment appeal. This next post is by Own Revolution. Okay, so I, 27F, have to give a bit of background on our friend group to illustrate the gravity of this situation. I'm in a friend group of about 8 people, which is essentially founded by these two guys, Mark 28M and Jay 29M. Mark is single, but Jay has a fiance, Ali 36F, that he's getting married to next summer. Nobody else is really relevant. Mark and Jay have been best friends for years. I think they're coming up on like 22. They were neighbors, went to the same schools, and got into the same college so they wouldn't have to be separated. They are actually platonic soulmates, to the point of finishing each other's sentences a lot of the time. They are the glue that holds this entire friend group together. When Jay and Ali first got together, Mark was a little weird about it, mostly due to the age gap, but he's come around a lot. They still don't get along perfectly, but he said he's happy for them both, and he's going to be the best man at their wedding. Last week, Mark got a promotion and Jay was out of town scouting out venues, so he invited me to go get trashed with him. Near the end of the night, he was hammered and grabbed my arm and told me he had a secret and that I couldn't tell any of our friends cause nobody knows. He told me he was in love with Jay and had been for years. He went into great detail about how attractive he found him, how good he had been to him all his life, and then he got this really freaked out look on his face and said he didn't think he could sit there and smile while the love of his life married someone who can't even commit his birthday to memory, much less a speech talking about how good their relationship is. He started getting teary-eyed and said the closer the wedding got, the worse he was feeling, and how he really needed someone to be there for him, which I agreed to. I am really bad at keeping secrets. People don't tell me a lot of secrets because I tend to blab. I don't mean to, I just let stuff slip a lot of the time. It's something I've gotten a lot better at, but still, I cannot tell this one. But it's been sitting on my chest like stones on Giles Corey. I didn't even know Mark was queer. I'm a bisexual woman myself, so I know how good some people can be at hiding it. And Ali is fine. Honestly, like she's nice and all, but I wouldn't call her and Jay a perfect match or anything. She doesn't tend to hang out with the group unless Jay is there, and I'd call her an acquaintance. I feel like all I can do is wait for some sort of blast wave. Like I need to get into a bunker. I told Mark I'd be there for him, but he was so drunk, I don't even think he remembers telling me. I have no idea what to do here, if anything. And don't worry, that's not where the story ends because, update. So lately my girlfriend and I have been helping keep Mark sober. We tried to encourage him to talk to Jay about all this, but he refused and said it wouldn't do any good. I'm still not sure if Jay knows how Mark feels, but I'm not about to start prodding. Then last week, something weird happened. Jay sent a text to the group chat and said that he and Ali had ended their engagement and their relationship entirely. He said he'd say more in a while, but right then, he was busy with damage control. Cute 8ish 20-somethings freaking out. I immediately called Mark and asked if he had anything to do with any of this, and he said no, which I believed. He seemed just as surprised as we were and was trying not to lose it. I texted Jay asking if he was alright and said he just needed some time to think, but thanked me for checking in. The next few days were insane, in part due to the big news, but also due to other irrelevant stuff. Our dog ate part of a weed brownie, she's fine. Normally we keep our stuff far beyond her reach, but this time it was accidentally left out. There was a lot of gossip and curiosity. Ali wouldn't answer any texts, but eventually Jay reached back out and told us. So Ali had chosen her own engagement ring pretty much. The only thing she didn't customize was an inscription on the inside of the ring that Jay got as a surprise. Well, she got in the shower a week or so ago and took off all her jewellery before she got in and left it on the bedside table. Jay picked up the engagement ring to admire it. Apparently it wasn't at all cheap, and noticed the inscription wasn't there, and that the band was a different kind of metal than the one he chose. It also looked much more weathered. She had a second near identical engagement ring from another man. After a lot of confrontation, she admitted that Jay was in fact the other man, and she was actually already married and had been for years. She planned on leaving him at the altar and just selling the ring, a plan so stupid, I cannot believe she made it this far. Ali isn't exactly known for how smart she is. She once asked if Mark spoke black French or white French, because he's mixed Creole. He's not even white mixed, and I'm still wondering what she meant by it. Obviously, Jay cut her off and got the ring back. Mark has been pretty much by Jay's side ever since the announcement, and to his credit, he genuinely doesn't seem to have an ulterior motive. He wants to be there for Jay during a tough time. At this point, I have no idea what's running through that man's head. My girlfriend suggests I remove myself a little for a bit, and I agreed. I don't need to be in the middle of this. Anyway, that's all for now. It's all very weird and complicated. I'll update if something else happens. That was r/Offmychest. If you enjoyed that video, make sure to check out some other videos on my channel, and also make sure to hit the subscribe button because I post new Reddit content every single day.